Hello everyone, and welcome back to another spine-chilling tale on our channel. Tonight I'm going to share a story that happened to me a few years ago during my late-night shifts at Walmart. Buckle up because this is a ride you won't forget. Stalker in aisle 7. It was the summer after my high school graduation, and I landed a job as the night shift stalker at Walmart. The night shift had its own eerie ambiance, with dimly lit aisles and the low hum of the overhead lights. I was getting used to the routine, stocking shelves, scanning barcodes, and occasionally dealing with quirky customers. One night, an elderly man named Mr. B caught my attention. He shuffled through aisle 7, his eyes never leaving me. At first, I dismissed it, thinking he needed assistance, but then he started showing up everywhere. Always in aisle 7, I'd find him lingering by the cleaning supplies, gazing at me with a disturbing intensity. Things took a darker turn when I found a birthday card on my break table. It was from Mr. B, and it read, "To the bright star of aisle 7, may your nights be as endless as my admiration." My heart raced as I realized this wasn't some harmless admiration. It was turning into an obsession. I reported the incidents to my manager, but there wasn't much they could do. Mr. B wasn't technically breaking any rules, and they chalked it up to harmless eccentricity. I tried my best to avoid aisle 7, but every time I turned a corner, there he was, staring. One night, as I was wrapping up my shift, I noticed him following me to the parking lot. My heart pounded as I quickened my pace, glancing over my shoulder to find him uncomfortably close. I decided to take a different route home, hoping to lose him in the winding streets. Weeks passed, and the situation didn't improve. I grew more paranoid, constantly watching over my shoulder. One night after finishing my shift, I realized I forgot my phone in the break room. As I retraced my steps, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Mr. B, his face inches from mine. "You can't escape the bright star, dear," he whispered. Terrified, I sprinted to the break room, grabbed my phone, and called the police. When they arrived, Mr. B was gone. They promised to keep an eye out, but warned me that without evidence of a crime, their hands were tied. I'd had enough. I quit my job, hoping the nightmare would end. For a while, life returned to normal, but the horror resurfaced when, years later, I ran into Mr. B at a different Walmart. My heart sank as he smiled and said, "I've missed our time in aisle 7. The nightmare wasn't over. So here's the advice I have for all of you out there. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. Report suspicious behavior to the authorities, and don't hesitate to seek help. Your safety is more important than anything else. And with that, dear listeners, I leave you with the haunting tale of Mr. B and the unnerving aisle 7. Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and never underestimate the darkness that may lurk where you least expect it. It was a gloomy, rain-soaked evening when I found myself at Walmart, casually strolling through the aisles with a shopping list in hand. Little did I know that this mundane trip for groceries would soon morph into a chilling encounter that would haunt my nightmares for weeks to come. The rhythmic patter of raindrops on the store's roof provided a comforting background noise as I navigated through the brightly lit aisles. As I reached for a can of soup, I noticed a man, nondescript in appearance, standing at the end of the aisle. His intense gaze was fixed on me, sending a shiver down my spine. Trying to brush off the uneasy feeling, I continued my shopping, convincing myself that it was mere coincidence. However, as I moved from aisle to aisle, the man trailed behind, maintaining a consistent distance. Panic began to set in, my heart racing as I realized I was being followed. Fighting the urge to sprint out of the store, I decided to test my theory. I took an abrupt turn into a random aisle, pretending to examine items. To my dismay, he mirrored my every move. The knot in my stomach tightened. I approached a store employee, seeking refuge from the unnerving situation. I explained my concerns, and the employee offered to call security. As we waited, I glimpsed the man disappearing into the crowd, leaving me with an unsettling feeling of both relief and lingering fear. Trying to regain composure, I completed my shopping and headed towards the exit. The rain outside had intensified, creating a blurred view of the dimly lit parking lot. I fumbled with my keys, the cold metal slipping from my trembling hands. As I approached my car, an unsettling realization struck me. The same man emerged from the shadows, standing beside my vehicle, his eyes fixed on mine. Panic surged through me like an electric shock. I hesitated, weighing my options, but fear propelled me forward. I sprinted back toward the store, seeking help from the security personnel. The security team acted swiftly, rushing to the parking lot to confront the man. However, as they approached, he vanished into the rainy night. The security personnel assured me they would keep an eye on the situation and offered to escort me to my car. As I drove home, the rain continued to pour, seemingly washing away the tension of the evening. Yet the fear lingered, gnawing at the edges of my consciousness. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had narrowly escaped something far more sinister. Days turned into sleepless nights, haunted by the memory of that mysterious man. I became hyper-aware of my surroundings, questioning every glance from strangers. It was a paranoia that refused to loosen its grip. In the weeks that followed, I shared my harrowing experience with friends and family. The consensus was unanimous. A potential stalker had fixated on me that rainy night. The unknown man had left an indelible mark on my psyche. The advice I offer to anyone who listens to my tale is simple, but crucial. If something feels off, don't dismiss it as mere paranoia. Seek help, whether it's from store personnel, security, or law enforcement. It's better to be proactive in ensuring your safety than to dismiss that gut feeling. As I recount this chilling tale, I implore you to stay vigilant, especially during seemingly routine activities. The world can be a shadowy place, and sometimes danger lurks where we least expect it. It was just another mundane Saturday in our small town, and my little sister Emma and I decided to spend the afternoon at the local Walmart. As we strolled through the aisles, our eyes widened when we spotted the inviting glow of the arcade in the corner. Excitement bubbled within us, and without hesitation we dashed towards the flashing lights and electronic sounds. The arcade was dimly lit, filled with the echoes of laughter and the hum of video games. We eagerly inserted coins into the machines, lost in the world of pixels and beeping noises. Little did we know that our innocent escape into the virtual realm would soon transform into a nightmare. As we played, I noticed two figures standing in the shadows, their silhouettes barely visible. They wore tattered overalls, their faces hidden beneath the brims of worn-out hats. Something about them sent shivers down my spine, but I dismissed it as paranoia, blaming the eerie ambience of the arcade. However, as we moved from game to game, the strangers moved with us, always lurking in the periphery. Their eyes, barely visible beneath the shadows of their hats, bore into us with an unsettling intensity. Unease settled in my stomach like a heavy stone. Emma, oblivious to the growing tension, continued playing. I decided to confront the strangers, hoping to diffuse the eerie atmosphere that surrounded us. "Hey, can we help you with something?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. The taller of the two, his face still concealed, mumbled something incoherent. His companion, a woman with greasy, unkempt hair, stared at us with a blank expression. The oddness of the situation only intensified. As we attempted to distance ourselves, the strangers persisted. They followed us from game to game, engaging in bizarre conversations about the weather, crops, and other topics that seemed out of place in the sterile, neon-lit environment. Their words sent chills down my spine, as if they knew something about us that we ourselves were unaware of. The turning point came when they cornered us near the prize counter. The man's crooked smile revealed yellowed teeth, and the woman's gaze remained cold and unyielding. "Y'all got any spare change?" the man grumbled, his voice sending a chill down my spine. Panicking, I fumbled through my pockets, handing them a handful of coins. As they shuffled away, their laughter echoed through the arcade, sending shudders down my spine. The encounter left us shaken, questioning the safety of the once familiar Walmart. Days turned into nights, But the memory of those hillbillies lingered. We avoided the arcade, but the feeling of being watched persisted. Sleep became elusive as nightmares of shadowy figures haunted our dreams. One evening, unable to shake the fear, I decided to investigate. I approached a store employee, describing the eerie encounter with the hillbillies. The employee's eyes widened with concern. As it turned out, no such individuals were employed at the store, and security footage revealed no trace of their presence. The realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. Those hillbillies were not real. They were something else, something that had infiltrated our reality, preying on our fear and vulnerability. The advice to the listener: if something feels off, it probably is. Speak up and seek help when needed. The world is full of shadows, and sometimes the monsters are not where you expect them to be.